Hey, how we doing, guys? It's been a while since I did my last video. Sorry for the delay there. I've had a lot going on in my life, and it's just been extremely busy, and I've been having a hell of a time with Amazon. Went through Amazon hell. It took about 15 straight hours to get an issue fixed, which was really a lot of fun. And it really affected sales, so that wasn't a fun experience at all. I'm just being sarcastic. If you're wondering why I'm looking like Grizzly Adams, it's because I can, and I work for myself, and I just didn't feel like shaving for a while. I can't grow a beard. It's like terrible. Anyway, let's get into it, guys. So, if you don't mind, please like and subscribe. If you feel you get something out of this video, I do appreciate the subscription. It really helps me out. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So, what I want to talk about today is brand registry versus brand approval and error code 5665. There's a lot. This might be one of those technical things nobody wants to hear about, but it's very important if you're going to sell on Amazon. You have to know how to do this. You have to understand the difference. So, first of all, brand approval. What is brand approval? Brand approval, so when you get error code 5665, right? So what you have to do if you get this error code, you have to contact Amazon. And you either call up Amazon, okay, and you're going to submit some pictures, or you can submit a case. Okay, you can open a case under help, and you can submit a case under listing. So you submit this case, and what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to, and you want to really get this worked out before you get the product kind of ordered, because you're going to have to get this done if you want to get your brand approved to sell on Amazon. Again, different than brand registry. It's a whole separate thing. So brand approval, you get the error code 5665, it won't let you save your brand name. Now, some people use NA and different things. You can do that, but you really do, in my opinion, want to get your brand name set up now, so you don't have this issue down the road, and you're going to have to get your brand name changed at some point. It's going to be harder to do, but I'd recommend go ahead and get your brand approved now. So what you're going to want to do is one of a few things. You're going to need to have a few things in place. First, you're going to need a website. Okay, that website is going to have the pictures, the same pictures you have on your Amazon listing. Okay, and you can get a cheap one from GoDaddy, or there's a lot of cheap sites. Basically, put the pictures of your images on there of your product. Put the UPC or EAN in there so it proves that it's the same product. If you don't want to use a UPC or EAN, put the FN SKU. That has worked for me. Now, what you're going to want to do is take actual pictures, or your supplier is going to want to take pictures of that actual item. So you'll either have to have the brand name permanently affixed, not a sticker. So permanently affixed to the cardboard box. If you have the item in the cardboard box, or you could have a bag, have the logo or the brand name on the bag, or you could have it on the item itself. The brand name can be on the item itself. So when you take pictures of these things, the Amazon rep will be able to see that, and then you'll be able to submit that with the actual pictures. The pictures with the actual information of the UPC, EAN, or FN SKU, which has worked for me in the past. So try to do UPC or EAN. So they want to have a picture of the UPC on the box. If you don't use that, I said it, try FN SKU, it's worked for me. And then pictures of the item with the brand name either on one of those things. So whether it's on, the brand, whether it's on the box itself, or the item, or the bag, as long as they can see that it's on there, you should be fine, okay? So once you have that, you have the pictures. You can usually take 5 or 6 pictures of the item itself with the brand name visible. You have the website, which again, you can just do a cheap website, just put the pictures, UPC, EAN on there with the pictures and the price, and just go ahead and put on the, make a picture of the actual, the barcode, okay? You're going to send this information into Amazon with that case you opened up, and you're going to ask them to approve your brand. Be very polite. Tell them if you can see that my UPC or FN SKU matches up with what's on the website, or the EAN, which is just basically, EAN is just like the universal barcode for Europe. That's all it is. Has an extra number. It's actually the same number as UPC with one extra number. So you'll be able to get the brand approved. Now, don't mistake that for brand registry, which is a whole separate thing. Excuse me. Brand registry is when you actually get your trademark. Now, a couple different ways you can do that. And so let's say for example, you want to get brand approval, okay? just to make sure we understand the difference. You're going to want to send in this. Let's say this is my Dunkin' Donut Connection coffee I've drank this morning. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to send in that picture of that where it says Donut Connection, okay? And you're going to want to get that approved. And that would be where I have the brand name on the item itself versus the packaging or versus a bag, right? So let's say you want to get brand registered, which is a whole different thing. Now, brand registry, you can do a couple different things. I'm not an expert, but I do know enough about it because I am brand registered. You can either get an image trademark on the USPTO website, okay? You can have a lawyer do this for you. There are people that do this that aren't lawyers. You can do it yourself, but you have to know how to do it. You have to know how to answer the questions if you get questions about it. So the best way to do it and to get it done quickly is to do it through IP Accelerator, which is an Amazon program, which I'll touch on in a second. What you're going to want to do is you want to get either one of two things. An image trademark. So let's say this was your image, okay? And you want to get a trademark. Now this says Donut Connection, best donuts in town, right? That means that your brand name actually is going to have to be Donut Connection, best donuts in town. It will not just be able to be Donut Connection for your image. So the difference is if you get a word mark that just says Donut Connection, you won't need the actual picture in that case. You'll need a picture of the product to get it approved with a brand name on it for the trademark on the USPTO, but you will literally be able to just say Donut Connection, okay? Make sure there's a space in between. If it's one word or if it's multiple words, everything in that either word mark and or picture trademark from the USPTO, you're going to have to call your brand that whole name. So, like I said, just to recap, this says Donut Connection, best donuts in town. Your brand name is going to be Donut Connection, best donuts in town. So make sure if you do an image trademark, every word you have on there is going to be your trademark. And vice versa, if you do a word trademark, if you say Donut Connection, your catchphrase is best donuts in town. Again, you're going to have to make your whole entire brand name Donut Connection, best donuts in town. Now, if you just say Donut Connection, then it's just going to be Donut Connection. So make sure there's no spaces in between, make sure there are spaces in between where you want them to be. Literally, it's going to be exactly as it's written in the trademark. They won't accept anything else. So I want to make sure you're aware of that before you go ahead and put your catchphrase with the trademark and understand that you're going to have to make that part of your brand name on Amazon, which is kind of the pain. I found out the hard way. So if you just want 2 words to be your brand name or 1 word to be your brand name, make sure you're very specific with that in your image and or word hookup, okay? Or word trademark. So IP Accelerator would be the fastest way to go. You can go on Amazon, just look up IP Accelerator. It's usually about $1,500 or so, and you can get your trademark up and running and registered much faster. Now, the trademark will still be pending, but Amazon will accept the trademark before it's officially approved for your brand registry, versus going through actual brand registry, actual trademarking, which can take 9 or 10 months to get approved, and then you take that number once you're approved and you put it into the Amazon system, and then you get approved through brand registry that way. So that's the difference between, and a lot of people are confused by that, brand approval to sell it under your brand name, proving it's an actual brand, and brand registry. Brand registry is when you have a trademark on the USPTO website, and you can look it up, and it's trademarked with the United States Patent Service, basically. That's the USPTO website. Once you're trademarked on there, then you can officially be brand registered, unless you use this IP Accelerator, which will do it earlier. Now, I did 2 trademarks. One's a word and one's an image trademark. The image trademark I had to add in again. For example, it said Donut Connection, best donuts in town. I had to make my whole brand Donut Connection, best donuts in town, which I didn't want that. I just wanted it to be Donut Connection, for example, okay? So make sure when you're doing that, understand what you're doing and understand the difference. Don't make the same mistakes I did. But understand also that brand registry and brand approval are 2 separate things. Now, again, you could do NA or generic and sometimes get that approved, but down the line, you want to get that under your brand name once you get brand registered so you can protect your brand. So if somebody tries to hijack it or counterfeit it, you can report them. Now, once you get brand registered, it's so easy to report somebody. You can literally just go in there, you can click on it, and it brings up so many options to report anything. And you can pull up the person's ASIN, you can pull up their picture, you can pull up their whole ASIN, you can pull up anything, and you put in what it is their breaking, whether it's your copyright or trademark, and then you just go ahead and report them. And it usually gets taken care of very quickly. I've actually done it. Somebody infringed on one of my photos, and I got it taken care of. That's part of it. Unfortunately, if you steal somebody's work, you're gonna get an IP claim, and that's the reason you get an IP claim, because you stole their work and you put something else on it. I paid $2,000 for my images. I don't think it's fair or right for somebody to go in and take them, but that's what happens. You'll be able to protect yourself with brand registry. And I've gotten IP claims because it's a long story, but I used somebody's image, just testing it. I wasn't planning on leaving it there to sell anything, and I forgot about it, and I got an IP claim. And you know what? Rightfully so. I did apologize, but nothing ever came of it. It's a big company. It's one of those as seen on TV companies. They could care less. You're just an ant to them. They'll crush you. They don't care. So it did fall off after about 6 months, which was good. I learned my lesson there. Just don't even use them as test photos. Don't even use anything off Alibaba unless you have written consent or you have consent from the manufacturer. Don't take that chance, because you can get in big trouble unless you account for it. So it's happened to me. I've also had some bogus claims against me. Brand registry is going to help you with that. Always have a good lawyer on hold, like I've said in my past videos. But anyway, I hope that you guys understand the difference between brand registry and brand approval. They're two different things. Area code 5665 is when you have to get brand approval. Now, once you're registered under your trademark, it'll be easier for you to submit for brand approval. And there's an option under brand registry that you can submit your item right there for brand approval. Now, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have the website. You're going to have the pictures of the item. But it's the same process. It just makes it a little easier. You can just do it right under there instead of having to go find it and submit a case through Seller Central. So it makes life a little easier. But that's where I ran into this huge problem I want to tell you guys about. And that's why it's so important when I talked about the donut connection, if I said best donuts in town versus just donut connection. Okay, I did an image trademark for one of my brands, and that brand happened to have the best donuts in town, for example, after Donut Connection. The problem with that is, I didn't know that. I had put all my brand listings, for example, under Donut Connection, right? And this is, again, just an example. This is not my company. This is a local company. But I had put for example, all my listings under Donut Connection. So, I didn't want it to be Donut Connection, best donuts in town. But I had to change it to that because that's what my image trademark said. So I had to change all of my brand names over that were already approved to this new one. So I had to get images of each item and send it in. Now, once I had that done, here's the worst part of it. My entire, and one of the people that watches my videos told me this happened to them. And when they all switched over, okay, if you have variations of an item, if you have a different, let's say you have a shirt, so you have different sizes, you may have different colors, maybe the same shirt, but different sizes and colors. Those are called variations. In order to do that, you have to create a parent ASIN, which is like the overseeing ASIN, okay? And then underneath that, you have what are called child ASINs, okay? Now, those child ASINs, I had to switch the branding for each one of the child ASINs. I had to put in for approval for each one. And the parent ASIN, like, how do you get that changed over? Because that's not an actual item. It's just like an overseer. So it was very confusing to me. What happened was, once I got all the brand names changed for the items, it split them all up. And it split up all my reviews. It split up all my colors. For example, it would split up all your sizes. So they were all split as individual items. So now one item that might have 300 reviews and another item that might have 10 reviews, they were combined for maybe 310 reviews. Now one had 10 and one had 300. That affected my sales a lot. And it messed with my rankings on all of those as well, whereas the combined rank is all your sales together. Now I had this 10 review one that had a very high rank, and it wasn't making any sales now. And the other one was making all the sales. So I was selling all this one color and not the other, because people weren't seeing that color under the variations. It was an absolute mess. I didn't know how to fix it. They wouldn't approve all my brands changes for all of them. So first thing I had to do was I had to get my brand approval for these couple they wouldn't approve for whatever reason. I had to make sure I get the pictures, did the website, just like I'm talking about here. I had to get brand approval, right? So they would change the brand name over. Then it takes a while for the brand name to actually go through. It's on the back end, but you can't change it in real time. So it was a mess. I had like 2 straight days of all my listings being split, my sales being affected greatly. I was really upset, and my rankings were going up like crazy because they weren't combined properly. So after, I think, 4 or 5 phone calls, and after going through multiple messages, mailing back, because the tech support, they won't take calls right now. So I'm emailing back explaining everything that's happening in the case, and they're just completely giving me a generic answer back and saying like, tough shit, like, you're screwed. Like, go ahead and do this. And I'm like, well, I can't do this. It won't let me edit anything. They don't care, so you have to keep responding back. You have to wait another 24 hours or 48 hours. It was a nightmare. So I called up, I asked for a supervisor, and, the supervisor was great. He sat there and went through everything with me. And I'm going to share that information with you, so when this happens to you, you'll be able to solve this problem, okay? So what happened was, when it changed all over my brand names, okay, the parent ASIN was still under the old brand name. Now, I was able to successfully get that changed over on one, but it didn't make any difference. It still was split. All the variations were split. So when you go into the parent, okay, you understand what I'm talking about via variations. Go into the parent ASIN, next to it under the inventory. You go to edit. You can delete that. It'll say it'll delete everything associated with it, but don't worry. It will not delete your other ASINs. It won't delete your child ASINs. That's why I wouldn't do it, because I was afraid it would delete my child ASINs, and then that would just be even a bigger mess, right? So I did that. It just deletes the actual, even though despite what it says, it only deletes the main parent. Then what you do is you'll create a new parent under a new ASIN, and you'll combine those again. And as long as they're under the proper brand name and you put in the new brand name with the parent, they'll all be together again as variations. It takes sometimes, 10, 12 hours to update, but eventually, or even more, 24 hours, but eventually they'll all merge back together. This was something that I kind of thought I could do, but I wasn't sure because I didn't want to erase all my children ASINs. And I finally got this, guy to help me out, this supervisor. He was great. He sat through everything with me. I just don't understand why the reps can't be that way. They could have solved my issue, but they don't want to take the time to do it, or they don't have the training. I'm not sure. But it was a complete nightmare. I was on the phone with this guy for a good probably hour and a half, 2 hours. And this was like another 13 hours of me just trying to get it fixed before that. And I had 2 separate things with 2 separate parents and children. He went through every little bit of it with me, and we just had a lot of trouble, and eventually it got worked out. But you have to know that you're going to have to delete that, regardless of whether you get the brand name changed on the parent. You have to delete that parent and do it again. You don't need a new UPC code, which I thought you did. You just need to do a new ASIN. Okay, it'll give you the option to create a new listing under a new ASIN. You don't put any description or anything in there. You just simply create a new ASIN. Okay. So once I did that, once I created the new ASIN for the parent, I connected the children again, and that was it. It fixed my issue. It took about 24 hours, but it was a nightmare, and it all had to do with I didn't put in the right trademark. Now, if you have to change your brand name, it's going to split up all your ASINs. You're going to have to create a new parent. You're going to have to know how to do that. This will save you hours and hours of grief. It was a nightmare for me. It took forever. I lost sales. I lost ranking. I am back to where I was, actually better now, because competition has been fierce. So I've lowered my prices to kind of crush the competition. So I'm selling a lot more, but I'm making a lot less on the sales, but I'm selling more. So I'm essentially still making good money every day, profit-wise. Over 100K a year if it were to stay like this. I'm not saying that to brag or what. I'm just giving you guys an update. Profit-wise. But for about every 900 I put in, I'm getting about 300 some back. So, if I buy $900 of product, I'm getting $300 profit back. So I'm getting about $1,200 back. That's not really great. It's really good for most industries, honestly. But point being, it's good for me. I'm fine. I'm making good money every day. But the point being is that you can make better money even. But my competition is so fierce right now, I'm trying to basically strangle out the competition. So I'm going to be very aggressive until the holidays, which at that point everybody's prices tend to go up, not down. Surprisingly enough, Black Friday, many times you're paying more for items, not less. Most people don't know that. except for the doorbusters, right? There's a few doorbusters, right? But a lot of times, aside from those special deals, you're usually paying more for that and you just don't realize it. So anyway, I hope this was informative. I hope this tells you the difference between brand registry or brand approval. There's two different things. Getting your brand approved is separate from brand registry. Whereas brand registry is a trademark, and getting that approved, once you have it approved through the USPTO. Brand approval is just getting it approved to sell on Amazon by using the images and the website and the UPC. If you guys have any questions, please message me at fbacommute@gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions if I can, and just drop me an email there. I also do some coaching, but that may be phasing that out a little bit. I don't have enough time to coach more people because I do put in a ton of time with any student you ask. I put in a ton of time with them for what you get. So if you're going to do it, you have to be serious about it, and I do put in believe me, if you put in the hours I put in, I would be making probably minimum wage or less. Doing it. I just love to do it. I love to help people, but also my time is very restricted because I'm trying to launch new products, which I just got a new product launched, just got shipped out yesterday. So I'm trying to launch new products, and I'm trying to manage the business, and I'm trying to manage competition, and all of the things, all the stuff that comes with Amazon, which you think it would get less and less as you sell more. It only gets harder on Amazon to manage everything. So I want to make sure you guys know that there's a lot to it. It's a legit business. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you think that's what it is, if you think it's not going to take the work, you're wrong. Just quit now. If you're not willing to take a risk, if you're not willing to put in the risk and the time and the effort, it's going to take a ton to get up and running. Just quit now. There's no easy button. This is not something you just put a listing on and you make money. If you think that's what it is and it's just that easy, I'm sorry, you're going to fail. You want to make sure that you treat this like a real business. You need insurance. You need to have. Now, this isn't to discourage anybody, but if you get sued, you can lose everything. So you need to have insurance. You need to have product liability insurance. You need to have lawyers once you start selling enough, because then somebody can take your brand away or file a complaint against you. You're going to need to have so many things. I know it's overwhelming at first, but once you get into it, it's really not that bad. And you start making some sales. I didn't start off with some of that stuff. You need an LLC, but this is stuff that's important if you want to actually run a legitimate business, not be sued and lose everything, and be successful. And you're going to take a ton of work learning about PPC and how to differentiate products. And even then, there's no guarantees, and you can very easily fail. So I've failed multiple times, and I've been a success. But if you get 1 or 2 out of 7 products, 8 products, guess what? You could make a lot of money. So the thing is, hopefully you don't fail 6 times before you get to that 7th time. So just think about that. It's a legit business. It takes a lot of hard work. I want you guys to understand that. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I won't tell that to people that I coach, and I won't tell that to people here on these videos because it's BS. If anybody thinks it's just that easy. Now, once it's up and running, I can make money while I sleep. That's a great feeling. When you wake up and you're making money. And you're sleeping and you're making money. You wake up and see what kind of sales you do. That's a great feeling. But to get to that point takes a ton of hard work. It's not easy. And there is a ton of risk involved. Like I said, if you're risk adverse and you want some kind of guarantee, don't be an entrepreneur, because if you're going to open up a coffee shop, for example, you're going to need $30,000, $40,000 or more a lot of times. Sometimes most businesses are $100,000 to even try, and you may fail. So to sit here and worry about $8,000, $10,000, if you're not willing to lose every dime of that, do not do this. Do not be an entrepreneur, because you could very well lose it all. And it happens. And I'm just saying you don't need that much necessarily to start, but my point is, you can't be scared to lose that money. You shouldn't expect to lose it, but you can't be scared to lose it. That's what the biggest issue I have. People want some kind of guarantee. There's never a guarantee. Sorry, don't be a business owner. If you want a guarantee, and that's not even a guarantee, go to work your 9 to 5, and you'll get a guaranteed paycheck as long as you're hired, unless they fire you. And that's not guaranteed either. Nothing in life is guaranteed. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. Anybody who signs up with me, I think they're aware of that. And if you want a guarantee, like I said, I don't want you to be my student, because there will be no guarantee. So at any rate, I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys are doing well. If you do have questions, I am happy to help. I do try to jump on the forums and help here and there. But yeah, I know Paul's university just launched. That sounds awesome. I haven't really checked out the details yet, but I bet that's absolutely killer. Just a shout out to Paul, Paul Savage. If you guys haven't looked him up on YouTube, he's who originally mentored me at first, and he's a great resource to go to. He got me ahead so fast compared to what it would have taken me, and really got me launched and changed my life. So I want to give a shout out to him, the original OG of the original gangster of Amazon, or one of them, and he's just been fantastic. So check out his university. I'm sure you guys will love it. Anyway, guys, have a great day. God bless. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.